How much sugar should you really be eating every day? It's a simple question, but the answer is surprisingly complicated. Sugar is everywhere in modern diets, from obvious sources like candy and desserts to hidden ingredients in bread, yogurt, cereals, and even savory foods. Many people assume sugar is the main cause of conditions like diabetes, obesity, and heart disease, but the science behind sugar consumption is more nuanced than most headlines suggest. Understanding how much sugar is safe, what type of sugar matters, and how it affects your body can help you make better decisions about your daily diet. Before we dive deeper, if you find this kind of science-based health content useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future episodes. It really helps us continue bringing you clear, research-driven health insights. And if you want to explore the scientific studies and resources behind what we discussed today, check the description box where we've included sources and references for everything covered in this video. I'm Dr. Justin Whiteman. I analyze the latest research on blood pressure, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, translating complex scientific findings into clear, practical insights through educational video content. So let's start with the key question: how much sugar per day is considered safe? According to major dietary guidelines, the general recommendation is to limit added sugar intake to less than 10% of your total daily calories. For someone consuming around 2,000 calories per day, that translates to about 50 grams of added sugar, which is roughly 12 teaspoons. That might sound like a lot, but many people consume far more without realizing it. In fact, the average adult currently gets about 13% of their daily calories from added sugars, well above the recommended level. Some organizations recommend even stricter limits. The American Heart Association suggests that adults should aim for no more than about 6% of their daily calories from added sugar. On a 2,000-calorie diet, that's around 30 grams per day, roughly 6 to 9 teaspoons depending on individual energy needs. For children, the recommendations are even lower. Kids older than 2 should consume no more than about 25 grams, or roughly 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day. And infants younger than 2 years old should ideally consume no added sugars at all. Now, here's where things often get confusing. Not all sugar is the same. There's an important distinction between naturally occurring sugars and added sugars. Naturally occurring sugars are found in whole foods such as fruits, vegetables, and milk. These foods also contain nutrients like fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Fiber in particular slows digestion, which helps prevent sharp spikes in blood sugar levels. Added sugars, on the other hand, are sugars that are incorporated into foods during processing or preparation. These include ingredients like table sugar, high fructose corn syrup, honey, maple syrup, agave syrup, and other sweeteners used to enhance flavor. From a metabolic standpoint, your body processes most sugars in a similar way, but foods that contain natural sugars usually come packaged with beneficial nutrients that moderate their effects on the body. One of the easiest ways to understand how much sugar you're consuming is to read the nutrition label. Most packaged foods list both total sugar and added sugar. Total sugar includes everything, both naturally occurring and added sugars. Added sugar specifically refers to the sugar that manufacturers include during processing. If a product lists 10 grams of total sugar, but only 1 gram of added sugar, most of the sugar is naturally present in the ingredients. But if the added sugar equals the total sugar, that means every gram of sugar in that product was added during production. So why are health experts concerned about excessive sugar intake? The main issue is not necessarily sugar itself, but the way high sugar consumption can contribute to excess calorie intake. When people consume large amounts of sugary foods or beverages, they often end up taking in more calories than their bodies need. Over time, this can lead to weight gain and increased body fat. Excess body fat is associated with several health conditions, including high blood pressure, heart disease, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, chronic pain, and certain types of cancer. Another well-known issue related to sugar consumption is dental health. Sugars, especially added sugars, are a major contributor to dental caries, commonly known as cavities. When sugar interacts with bacteria in the mouth, it produces acids that erode tooth enamel. Studies show that keeping added sugar intake below 10% of daily calories significantly reduces the risk of tooth decay. Interestingly, foods containing natural sugars, such as fruit and milk, tend to be less damaging to teeth because they also contain water, fiber, calcium, and protective nutrients. Sugar has also been studied extensively in relation to heart disease. Some research suggests a connection between high intake of added sugars and increased cardiovascular risk, particularly when those sugars come from sugar-sweetened beverages like soda and sweetened drinks. However, the relationship isn't completely straightforward. Many of the studies examining this issue are observational, meaning researchers track patterns rather than directly controlling variables. Observational research can reveal associations, but it cannot definitively prove cause and effect. A similar situation exists when discussing sugar and type 2 diabetes. Many people assume sugar directly causes diabetes, but the reality is more complex. Type 2 diabetes is influenced by multiple factors, including genetics, physical activity levels, body weight, and age. Research on added sugars and diabetes risk has produced mixed results. While sugary drinks appear to be associated with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, sugar itself is not considered the primary cause. Instead, the broader context of overall calorie intake, diet quality, and lifestyle plays a much larger role. There is also growing interest in the relationship between sugar consumption and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, often abbreviated as NAFLD. This condition occurs when excess fat accumulates in the liver. Some research suggests that high intake of fructose, particularly from sugar-sweetened beverages, may be associated with increased risk of fatty liver disease. But once again, most studies examining this relationship are observational. While they show correlations, they cannot conclusively demonstrate that fructose alone causes the condition. One of the biggest contributors to excess sugar consumption is beverages. Sugary drinks account for roughly half of the added sugars in many people's diets. This includes soft drinks, fruit drinks, sports drinks, sweetened coffee beverages, and sweetened tea. Liquid calories are especially problematic because they don't create the same feeling of fullness as solid foods. As a result, people often consume them in addition to their regular meals rather than replacing calories elsewhere. However, sugar doesn't only come from obvious sources like desserts or soda. Some surprising foods also contain significant amounts of added sugar. Sandwiches, for example, contribute about 7% of the average person's added sugar intake because sugar is often used in bread or condiments as a preservative or flavor enhancer. Breakfast cereals, granola bars, and flavored yogurts are also common sources of added sugar. A single serving of flavored yogurt can sometimes contain around 9 grams of added sugar, which can add up quickly over the course of the day. The good news is that reducing sugar intake doesn't require eliminating all sweet foods from your diet. Small, practical adjustments can make a meaningful difference. One simple step is to reconsider the beverages you consume daily. Replacing sugary drinks with water, sparkling water, unsweetened tea, or milk can dramatically reduce added sugar intake. Even asking for less sweetener in your coffee order can help lower daily sugar consumption. Another helpful strategy is choosing snacks that contain fiber, protein, and healthy fats. Foods like whole fruit, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and hummus can help stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce cravings for sugary snacks later in the day. When shopping, it can also be beneficial to look for unsweetened versions of foods such as yogurt, nut butters, and plant-based milks. If you prefer sweetness, you can add fruit yourself rather than relying on processed sweeteners. Ultimately, the goal isn't to eliminate sugar completely. Sugar in moderation is perfectly compatible with a healthy diet. The key issue is excess consumption, particularly from highly processed foods and sugary beverages that contribute calories without providing much nutritional value. By paying attention to nutrition labels, being mindful of hidden sources of added sugar, and making small dietary adjustments, most people can easily bring their sugar intake within recommended guidelines while still enjoying the foods they love. If you found this explanation helpful, remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more evidence-based health insights. And once again, check the description box for the scientific sources and references behind the research discussed today.